Deborah Tavares is our guest. She's one of the leading anti-smart meter individuals out there, period. And she's extremely articulate. We're going to do a little bit of overdrive with her into the next hour to make sure she has time to break everything down today. And I, again, appreciate her coming on. Every time I hear her on the radio, it's just amazing to listen to. I heard her on Joyce Riley's show last week here locally on the local FM that also carries our show. And I thought, man, I've had her on before. I've got to get her back on with the latest shooting and the guy saying he was under ELF. Whether he was under it or not, it exists. It's been declassified. They've got microwave systems, you know, in Times Square that broadcast sound into your head. In fact, the headline on that from Huffington Post, I think, was Schizophrenia, the new advertising campaign. And the point is that separate from all that, the smart meters, the spy grids, the cell phone spying on you, what the studies show this microwave radiation is doing to plants and animals. She joins us. So give us an overview of your research, the history of this, and what these globalists are up to that have captured our government. And then in the next long segment, I want to get into the whole raft of issues that you sent us: smart meters, hidden implementation tactics, silent weapons, NASA warfare, and all the documents that are at stopthecrime.net. Deborah, thank you for coming on with us.
Well, Alex, thank you so much for having me on. I want to get started by giving everyone the opportunity to print, if they cannot download copies of the documents they're going to hear me speak about, I want them to be able to get them, and they can call our print shop at area code 707-586-9558, 707-586-9558. We will print those at print cost and shipping and get these out to you because it's absolutely imperative, Alex, that everybody get this information in their hands immediately. And most importantly, I think, to start as a bit of a foundation, is the Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars document. That's only a 44-page document. We have it on our website both in a free download or also up where you can listen to it as well. And I'm going to start here a bit, Alex, because in order to connect the dots of all of the documents that we found on the government websites, I think we'll start here first. Understand that the Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars was a document that was put together in the late 40s. And the groups that were involved in that document at that time were the U.S. Air Force, the Rockefeller, international bankers, and Harvard University. And this is an operational technical manual to subvert history and law, total global manipulation, enslavement, and genocide. And we are the enemy. And this is the thinking of the international bankers. And it's important to understand what they think, because this is what they're doing, and we can see it. We all know we're under a massive war, and it is. It's a silent weapons war. We're being subdued, and we don't even realize it. It is fingerprintless, and they are using chemicals and biologicals and bacteriologicals and viruses and parasites and fungi, carcinogens. This we found when we found the NASA war plan on the NASA website. And this document is on our website, Alex. It is unbelievable. It tells us, now this was a PowerPoint presentation back in 2001 given by Dennis Bushnell, the chief NASA scientist, who, by the way, is a transhumanist. So this PowerPoint, the topic is about robots, cyborgs, and humans. And they talk about, on page 93, for example, how they will torture, capture Americans in living color on prime time, and how they will use chemicals and biologicals on the continental United States. They will attack critical infrastructure, and they will use an EMP, electromagnetic pulse, which we're hearing a lot in the news right now. They'll do this to us, and they'll use radiation microwave frequencies against our brains. And this they say multiple times throughout this document. I would suggest everyone go to stopthecrime.net immediately and understand what is happening. And then go to our solutions page, because you're going to hear a lot of horrific things, but you've got to take action, because what you've got to understand is in the Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars document, they tell us, the bankers tell us, their primary victory is our consent. And I can tell you, we are consenting by lack of knowledge. And you can look this up on page 37 of the Quiet Weapons document, but you've got to understand, this is an artificial consent. We're being poisoned. We're being coerced.
Stay there, Deborah Tavares. Stay there. Absolutely on target. We're going to explain what soft kill weapons are and quiet weapons when we come back.
The Alex Jones channel is the official page of the InfoWar. But don't miss what's happening on our other channels. The Info Warrior, with the week's best videos. Prison Planet Live, where Paul Joseph Watson gives his expert analysis. And keep up with the rest of the InfoWars crew on our other pages. All of our videos are available to repost for educational purposes. See the sidebar of the Alex Jones channel for the subscription links. And remember, you can always find our videos in the highest quality by becoming a member of PrisonPlanet.tv.
Now, folks, while Deborah is talking in a moment, we're going to be showing you the government documents. And when she's talking, not just what's saved on her site, to show TV viewers that we're not making this up, I will search it on the NSA interface. That's what it is, the two-way interface. Google, on purpose, and show you as TV viewers, radio listeners, when you hear the name of these documents, you can just type them in, go to her site, but also type them in, check them. You'll be at Army.mil. You'll be at DARPA. This is all on record. And that's what's so crazy about this. I'm going to explain it in a moment. First, our great sponsors that make this possible. Any sponsor you hear me endorse with my voice here on air, we've looked into, we believe in, we think's a great product. We're one of the only shows out there, and I'm not bragging, it's just fact, that actually vets what we promote. You'll hear network ads and stuff that I can't vouch for. I'm not knocking them. I'm not saying they're good either. I don't know. This stuff are great sponsors. SimpliSafe, ladies and gentlemen, GetSimpliSafe.com is the website. There are some real scum out there in the alarm industry. You need to protect your home, but do it right. Don't ever sign a contract for a freebie alarm. Get the best home security in America and save thousands with my friends at SimpliSafe. No long-term contracts, no hidden fees, and you get 24/7 protection for less than $15 a month. Get my special discount plus a keychain remote, a $25 gift free when you go to GetSimpliSafe.com. That's GetSimpliSafe.com. Check it out and find out more today. Continuing, Supernatural Silver, ladies and gentlemen. Superbugs are winning the battle against disease, but we can win the war with Supernatural Silver. Supernatural Silver is a safe and effective means of fighting pathogens where antibiotics and other drugs fail. That's just on record. Supernatural Silver can protect us from a wide series of attacks by defeating the root of these problems, bacteria, viruses, and mold. Silver's on record, folks. That's why they're patenting and stuff now to make it big pharma so people can't get it. Go to supernaturalsilver.com for more information on how to protect your loved ones. That's supernaturalsilver.com and use the promo code AlexSays for 20% off. Alex Says, one word. They're at supernaturalsilver.com. And please remember us at InfoWarsNews.com to become PrisonPlanet.tv members to see the higher quality archives of the show and the show each night, 7 o'clock Central at PrisonPlanet.tv. Okay. Deborah Tavares will be with us 20 minutes the next hour. Some stations will leave us in about 35 minutes from now. But some stay with us into the overdrive. For a long time, I did 4 hours and quit doing it, so some stations don't carry it, but I'm back to doing it just because I can't help it. There's so much to cover. But, Deborah, I want to get into silent weapons for quiet wars, but I first want to define this myself. If Hitler, had his troops in Barbarossa march into Russia and line up people by the hundreds of thousands monthly and shoot them and push them into pits, sand pits, the next village would get word and organize a defense. And even if they lost over time with attrition, it defeated the Nazis. But if the Nazis would have figured out how to come in and be friends and put a slow kill weapon in the water that killed them over 5 years and nobody would have known what hit them, and by the time that happened, it had been over and only the Nazis would have known. Well, it turns out silent weapons for quiet wars that you're talking about, and we're going to show viewers the document here. I hold it in my little hand from 1954 to understand all of this, and then to understand Colonel Alexander and his soft kill weapons and all of it. It is key to understand this is how they're dominating us. We're seen as a scourge. We're seen as a plague. We must be removed. but they've learned how to incrementally go after us so that we never understand where the threat's coming from. This is covert, silent war, basically, and that's what you're getting at. And it's paramount, the sodium fluoride, the GMOs, the ultra-low frequency, all of this, DARPA admits, is being deployed against the rebellious Western nations that have always given the globalists their biggest problem. That's why the military says their number one enemy is the veterans, because these are people that have been trained by the system who need to be decommissioned after it's all over. So get into your awakening if you can for folks, and then get into silent weapons for quiet wars and lead into the smart meters, the grid, the new documents you've discovered. And people, again, can find all those. We're going to mirror them as well at Infowars.com at StopTheCrime.net. So get into it.
Well, yes, Alex, I'm a researcher, and I come from a 30-plus year land development self-employment business with my family. And so I've been used to a lot of hard work and lots of government documents in the process of our construction business. But more importantly is what I discovered when I read the Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars document. And what I discovered is that it was always to have been kept from public scrutiny. And I thought, oh, boy. And so they talk about how in the interest of future world order and peace and tranquility, now this is for the elite world peace and tranquility, it was decided to privately wage a quiet war against the American public with the ultimate objective to permanently shift the natural and social energy or the wealth from the undisciplined, irresponsible many into the hands of the self-disciplined, responsible, worthy few. And it's extremely important to understand how they said in order to implement this objective, it was necessary to create, secure, and apply new weapons, which, as it turned out, were a class of weapons so subtle and sophisticated that in the principle of their operation, the public's appearance as to earn themselves the name silent weapons. Now, what is the silent weapon system? It is what is happening right now in our country. We're being hit with fluorides. They're poisoning our air, water, land, food, you name it. We're under massive weaponization attack with the overhead chemtrailing as well as the horrible, horrific storms. This is all part of the silent weapon system, and they say that the public won't be able to comprehend this weapon, and therefore they won't even believe that they're being attacked or subdued by any weapon at all. But we all instinctively know, they say, that something is wrong. We just don't know how to cry out and ask for help. Well, now you do. You can go to StopTheCrime.net, and you can download this most important document, only 44 pages. And they say that when this silent weapon is applied gradually, the public adjusts and adapts to its presence and learns to tolerate its encroachment on their lives until the pressure, both psychologically and economic, becomes too great and we crack up. They say it's a type of biological weapon. It attacks our vitality, our options, and mobility of individuals of a society by knowing. That's in SA. That's the knowing. Understanding, manipulating, and attacking our sources of natural social energy and our physical, mental, emotional strengths and weaknesses. Now, it's extremely important to understand that what they talk about, Rothschild said back during the time that this was put together, that he discovered a basic principle of power and influence and control over the people as it was applied to economics, that the principle is when you assume the appearance of power, people soon give it to you. So the bottom line here is that we can no longer consent. We have to read these documents. We have to understand what we're agreeing to and we're not. But what is the most concerning aspect in this document? Well, there are many, of course. But one thing that I'm going to get into right now, Alex, because this is horrifying to me. It says the final key to economic control had to wait until there was sufficient data and high-speed computing and equipment. And then they go on to talk about how energy is the key to all activity on the face of the earth. It follows that in first order to attain monopoly over the energy, raw materials, goods, and services, and to establish a world system of slave labor, it is necessary to have first strike capability in the field of economics. In order to maintain our position, it is necessary that we have absolute first knowledge of science, of control over all economic factors, and first experience at engineering the world economy. And they go on to say that this must be achieved so that the public will make not either a logical or mathematical connection between economics and the other energy sciences or learn to apply such knowledge. Now, why this is so horrifying is this supersedes all the prior conversation about UN Agenda 21 and the massive land grabs and that we see happening all over the world and in the United States with farms and ranches, because they want it all energy. What does that mean? We are energy. Every single thing is energy. Our body is 70% water. Our brain is 87% water. What holds them together? Energy. Everything is energy. It's vibrating frequencies. So that's going to lead me into this document that we found on the White House website that everybody needs to go to stopthecrime.net and take a look at. We've had a number of experts from all over the world weigh in on this, and this is horrifying. The name of the document, again, you can go to stopthecrime.net, and flashing at the very top of the home page is where you'll find that document, and it says electronic harassment, stalking, mind control, new leaked documents here. Go there. You'll see the document entitled Realizing the Full Potential of Government-Held Spectrum to Spur Economic Growth. Economic growth is not our growth. We're the enemies of the state. Now keep in mind, we're a corporate structure. We're no longer under a constitution. We've been hijacked. We've been seized. The 1933 bankruptcy tells us that we were collateralized against the debt, the gold that was stolen. Everything about us has been collateralized. We were not taught that in school. We are enemies of the state, according to the bankruptcy. So go to stopthecrime.net to learn about that.
And they're going to have to go there later because we're crashing your website right now, just so you know.
Okay.
So if you want, we'll mirror some of that over on Infowars.com. I can ask Kurt and Immo to do that.
I want to tell you more about this document because this is critical. And as people are able to get to our website, you've got to understand what is happening right now is they're targeting the United States, the military-industrial complex, with increased frequencies and radar, and it is a silent systems deployment. And what this is, what this 13-page document represents, and we've got the map right next to it on our website, Alex, it's psychotronic weapons for mass mind control. And this is the use of quantum computers. Now, for people that need to understand what quantum computers are, you need to watch Eagle Eye by Spielberg. That'll give you some kind of an idea. But this is absolute total mind theft. This is invasion of the human brain with artificial intelligence. What this means is what we're seeing now in these mass shootings, where they're controlling our specific thoughts, our emotions, and able to direct our physical actions and energy and our physical actions into unsuspecting people. So this is going to increase. This is the new weaponized warfare. And it's extremely important to understand that one of the experts that weighed in on this told us as they amp up the frequencies around the United States, which you'll see on the map, a frequency fence around all the coastal states, the Pacific Coast, the Eastern Seaboard, and all of the other areas that abut the water, you'll see this frequency fence. And this is a map that shows the end of free will as we have known it. There's absolutely no question about it, Alex. And when I was researching the smart meters, of course, I came across continually the corporations. We're run by corporations, and this is also fascinating and something that everybody needs to understand. We are run by corporate contracts. They're behind everything that doesn't make sense. Everything is on the Delphi program through the RAND technique, so when we go to meetings, everything has predetermined outcomes and consensus. They're not listening to us, period. It's all been predetermined. You can understand this is all subtle mind control. We leave meetings scratching our heads. No one listens to the fact that we bring doctors and documents. We don't want fluoride in our water supply. They're fluoridating us because this is the plan. This is a silent weapons attack. And in this document, you will see the White House Spectrum Management Team. It consists of Google, Microsoft, Stanford, and Harvard universities. Harvard was involved in the Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars document. Virginia Tech, UC Berkeley, who denies geoengineering program, even exists. The National Telecommunications Information, the FCC and NSA, just to name a few. So I can only tell you that this is an attack. This is to take our minds. And what they're planning to do, which they've been doing for many years, and I know last week, Alex, you had someone on the program talking about targeted individuals with electronic harassment and government gang stalking and private gang stalking as well. This is real. everyone needs to do some homework on this. You're going to have many people within your communities that are targeted with frequencies. They say in the NASA war document on page 45 that beam weapons will become increasingly prevalent. They talk about how they will use a micron-sized dust as an aerosol, and when it's inhaled into the lungs, it will bore into our lung tissues and execute various pathological missions. Well, let me tell you something about that dust. That dust is also involved in mind control. So we are being hit massively by a silent weapons system. And so in order to understand it, you've got to read the silent weapons document. You've also got to read the New World Order Exposed 1969, as well as understand the Iron Mountain Report and understand that the underpinnings of all of this is the false and fake and phony science that we're being sold as climate change and global warming to get us to give it all up under the requirement of reducing greenhouse gas and CO2 emissions. And what I found out, Alex, with the smart meter is all of our hard work to get the opt-out and to get the sense that we had a victory was, of course, all just an appeasement plan. I found out that in every single city nationwide, that in the back door, by executive order, there are climate action plans and or energy action plans being approved by your planning department and approved by your city councils everywhere. And this climate action plan requires smart meters. And not only requires smart meters, it requires everybody to replace their old, inefficient, old clunker appliances. But not to worry. They will have green loans so that you can finance. And they say the average cost of replacement of appliances in a household is between $2,000 and $5,000. And we are in a recession. They're going to force the replacement to Energy Star appliances. What is even more horrific is the fact that they want to stop using gas appliances. Gas appliances and equipment are to be transitioned into electric only. And I can tell you that you can find this on our website. I've done an article on this. It's called Exposed, Smart Meters, Hidden Implementation, Tactics, and Breaking News.
By the way, just to add, again, the former CIA Director Petraeus, last year, Wired Magazine reported at a conference, he said, all the new appliances are surveilling you. We're watching you. This is not debatable. What's insane is, I'm not even against technology, but the smart meters are Imperial probe droids attached to the side of your house, dialing into everything, watching and listening to you, data over power line. And DARPA, I mean, I've read DARPA in the Baltimore Sun admit 14 years ago that they were testing ultra-low frequency over cell towers to, quote, calm the public. I have Fox News. We're going to break. We're going to come back at your take on this. Fox News saying, we're looking at putting lithium in the water to make you calm and happy. So they're just admittedly rolling all this out and pushing GMO on people that, on record, sterilizes and kills the rats that it's fed to.
InfoWarsStore.com, a conscious and involved distributor of independently made products that support a healthy and aware community. Dive into cleaner waters with your own ProPure system and Pro 1D filter. Save 10% with the promo code WATER. We've handpicked a veritable treasure trove of the best non-GMO seed banks on the market. And our selection of films showcases a wealth of knowledge outdone only by our books. Check for combo packs to multiply your savings. Wear your colors proudly with one of these conversation starters. Now available in pink. Get prepared and fund the revolution at InfoWarsStore.com.
I've read so many declassified government documents, mainstream news articles. 15 years ago, they had Coke machines that projected sound into your inner ear. In Tokyo and L.A., I had the CEO on. Now in Times Square, they've got a system. In fact, I have the article right here in my stack with the headline that schizophrenia becomes the new advertising campaign. And there are certainly crazy people out there that think they're being messed with, but there's a lot of studies out there that show television watching, video games, all this electromagnetic radiation is really making people become very agitated, mentally ill. They show that just using a cell phone for a few minutes heats the brain 1 degree. That's BBC. In fact, they found the headline. Let's punch that back up. Good job, guys. I couldn't find the article, so the other guys found it. Schizophrenia is the new ad gimmick. I don't know how the crew finds stuff so fast now, especially Chris Jordan. Literally like a lightning bolt of speed and precision. But there it is. Schizophrenia is the new ad gimmick. And then, little projectors up there that project it into your middle ear. Now, you have to understand, folks, I was telling people about this 15 years ago with the patents, and people would walk up to me on the street and say I was a liar. And then I found law enforcement publications where they were admittedly buying them to torture people. And I showed you that. Shomertech advertises shut down free speech with the supersonic nauseator. I mean, this is the stuff that's going on. You can't even hear it, but it makes you sick. It's ultra low frequency. And it's so frustrating to see the public not aware of all this. And then here's a new video up on Infowars.com, just breaking at Infowars.com. Dad charged with second-degree assault on cop after he questioned Common Core curriculum. That's where they teach you 2 + 2 might equal 5. That's an actual quote of it. And he got up and said, no, this is wrong. They said, no, you're not allowed to speak at PTA. The cop comes over and shoves him and grabs him. The guy pulls his arm away. Cop arrests him. He's charged. And this is how the secret police work, ladies and gentlemen, in America. They put their hands on you. You pull away. That's terrorism. Okay? And they're coming. They're coming. They're trained that government is God. And they're hiring all these people out there to become the new enforcers, and we're in deep trouble. So how dare a parent go warn other sheep? That's not Delphi technique. He's going to be shut down. We've only got a few minutes left before we go to break and go into overdrive, but the big picture from reading these documents, it's obviously get us incapacitated, get us dumbed down, Deborah Tavares, so they can accelerate the use of the weapons until we're just outright dying in mass, as we already are statistically, but where it's open to where no one can resist. Is that what you've found, or is that incorrect?
That's absolutely. They're stealing all of our wealth. They're absolutely hollowing out the middle class in the United States. I recently listened to Al Gore talk at an event, and he said all the jobs have been shipped off, to China and offshore. They won't be coming back. What they're doing is this is transhumanism. They're transitioning us. They're changing our species. This is their plan. And when you look at the NASA war plan on page 9, they say humans have taken over and vastly shortened evolution, and they will direct a new evolution. I can't recommend any more highly for people to watch The Island of Dr. Moreau and get an idea of what is happening. We're under transformation right now with all of the chemtrailing. We all have nanofibers in us, everything, my grandchildren, my pets. My whole family, everybody has nanofibers.
I had tried everything. I'd cut back the amount of food I was eating. I was lifting weights and jogging, but nothing was working. My body was literally starving for minerals and trace elements as well as key vitamins. And as soon as I had that, I immediately could eat half of what I was eating previously and be satisfied. Now, there are hundreds of great products at InfoWarsTeam.com, but I want to point out the 3 that have helped me lose 37 pounds in just 2 months. Products like Beyond Tangy Tangerine, Pollen Burst, and Rebound. When I started taking the Tangy Tangerine and other products every day, I lost more than 37 pounds in just 2 months. Now that's results. I want to challenge my listeners to go to InfoWarsTeam.com and to order just 3 of their products, and you will see the changes in the way you look, feel, and in your appetite almost immediately. Start your journey to health and wellness today. InfoWarsTeam.com. Well, if you go to a PTA meeting and question why your kids are being taught 2 + 2 = 5, or being taught how to be gangster hoes and run game, they actually teach Ebonics now in the schools, you will be arrested. The video's up on Infowars.com. Now, if that isn't mind control, where they're teaching kids how to not be able to read and write, how to not be able to add, this, ladies and gentlemen, is the system of total control. And you talk about diabolical. This is how they are trying to wreck society. We are joined right now here on air by a very informed lady, Deborah Tavares, and we're going to give you some of her websites. Her main site is having some problems because there's so much traffic, but we'll list some of those other sites as well coming up in the next segment. This is only a 5-minute segment, so start getting back into all the systems rolling out, what they're doing, what the plan is. Society will now start breaking down even faster because of all the electronic manipulation. Then their answer will be more police state. They've really figured this out.
Yes, they have, Alex. As a matter of fact, at this point, I've got to just tell everybody what they can do. They must eliminate as much wireless communication devices that they are able to. Go and buy corded phones. Do not use the deck phones or the hand-free phones. Do not ever use your cell phone in your car. It's like being inside a Faraday cage, where in that it bounces off many times from the inside of your car and bounces through, it dices and slices your DNA. It's making you sick. We can't afford any wireless technology now because of all of the chemicals and biologicals that they're dumping on us. If you want to survive longer, you've got to eliminate all Wi-Fi, etc. In fact, that is why they want Wi-Fi in the schools for our young children. Not only will it eliminate and prevent and increase infertility, but it will also cause deformity for as many generations as little girls have. 57% of little girls' eggs are going to be affected by this. They know this. This is no accident. So go to our website. You've got to get this out in mass distribution. It's warning to all police, fire, and first responders about their wireless communication devices and how those are used to affect their brains with the pulsed microwave radiation. You've got to get this out to them because you'll understand why increased anger is happening on the streets, why we're seeing an overuse and overreach of anger. It is largely frequencies, and the fact that they're jamming our immune systems. We're not able to get into our REM level of sleep at night because they're amping it up at night. We are in massive trouble, so we've got to do every single thing we can. Buy extra phones. I found out in Europe that a lot of the corded phones are not even available anymore, so people are stocking up as best they can to stay wired as possible. There are other things on our solution page that you can do, just as we always have had to have water purification systems for our homes to clean up and try to clean up the poison toxic water that they put in the poisons they put in our water supply, but we now need to use equipment that will reverse and push back some of the frequencies, the transient frequencies that are coming into our homes. There's ideas on our website for that. I can also say that you've got to print down the microwave radiation frequency Wi-Fi symptoms list on the landing page of stopthecrime.net. Understand the feelings that you're going to have so that you can print this off and you can help other people know. I just had a situation where just last week someone actually had a seizure in a parking lot, and no one understood why. Well, they had their cell phone. Seizures are going to become much, much more common. Understand these are frequencies. These people are likely living in a polluted EMF, microwave frequency polluted area. We're under mass mind control. That is the key to control all energy on the planet by the elite. Make no mistake about it. And so print off the flyer. Understand you're going to have increased confusion, short-term memory loss.
Hello, this is Hank Hill, and I'm telling you what, you need to listen to Alex Jones.
Yeah. Infowars.com.
My judge, what is the secret of the universe?
Infowars.com.
All right, Deborah's going to leave us here in about 10, 12 minutes. I'm going to continue on because I didn't get to this earlier in the broadcast. Obama at the memorial yesterday for the Naval Yard saying that we've had 5 massacres, time to take the guns. I want to just point out that some of these are admitted al-Qaeda attacks that he's now blaming on American gun owners, like the Fort Hood massacre, which they will not call a terrorist attack. Now, listen, folks, when you look at how diabolical the globalists are, and you read their own reports, like Attenborough, the big scientist in England came out and said, we're a disease, time to starve and kill the third world. When you realize Ted Turner says the same thing, and then does this weird feminist thing where he says, only women should be able to be in government for 100 years, as if men did it, as if men, period, are bad. It's total division, black against white. man against woman. It's all about divide and conquer, and tell you the problems out there are because of a black person or a white person or a woman or a man or a northerner or a southerner. Meanwhile, the globalists are manipulating these clash of civilizations. And they know what these frequencies are doing. They knew 30 years ago when they were testing microwaves. You can just type in all the studies. There's thousands of them on cell phones and cancer. Why did they approve it? Why did they do it? Because it's a total control system, your personal little computer you carry around with you that is surveilling you and microwaving you even when you're not using it. Now, there's the Wired headline. Your cell phone may be more hazardous to your health than cigarettes. Warning, your cell phone may be hazardous to your health. There's no may about it. Now they're telling you because they want you to get ready for all the brain tumors. And I've seen studies with it connected to heart problems because the heart is electrochemical even more than the brain. And that's what pacemakers, people are having to get more and more of them. And we're just being bombarded with this stuff. Okay, going back to Deborah Tavares here with us, going over this. From your research and going off the government documents and the thousands of articles, I mean, this is admitted, we're seeing studies of how irritable people are around wireless, how many medical problems it's causing, and now they're saturating it with public Wi-Fi where you have no way to get away from it. To come in and work in a technological environment in here, I have to step into a literal chamber of it. It just feels so good to get out in the woods and away from it. I go out to the desert where there's no cell phones, and I feel 20 years younger. What's going on here, Deborah?
Well, it's an intention. They know, as you said, exactly what they are doing. I want to just make a comment very quickly because we posted Kaiser Permanente, of course, which is Rockefeller founded, has a very interesting article about limiting screen time for healthier kids. They say too much screen time is associated with, and that's behind a computer, violent behavior, poor school performance, lower reading scores, sleep pattern disturbances, being overweight, consumption of junk food, bad habits later in life. We have that posted on stopthecrime.net. So they admit to us, they tell us what we should be doing, and then they also tell us in the documents, Alex, that if we make decisions that kill ourselves, then we deserve to die. But what I want to tell you, in the 1996 Telecommunications Act, they suspended forever our right to freely discuss health effects from cell towers and where they were located in our cities, because buried deep in that landmark bill in Section 704, a Wisconsin senator inserted a little-known clause that prevents local governments from hearing objections or challenges to cell phone towers placed or based for health impacts forever. So I've got to tell you, everyone needs to go to antennasearch.com, antennasearch.com. Find out where these weapons are nearest your homes, in your neighborhoods, in your communities. These are weapons. They are lining our freeways throughout the United States. They're creating a dog fence. This is Agenda 21, reducing our ability to travel. People are not going to feel well. They will not know why. That's why you must print off the symptoms list on our website and let people understand, because doctors will not know. They'll give everybody pills and poisons for everything they go in for that is related to this frequency assault upon us as a quiet weapon, silent war assault. Absolutely. And I can tell you that they also told us that as far as the other aspects of what they do to us in the NASA war plan, they tell us that they're going to use acoustic weaponry. They tell us that all of this is illegal. This is an illegal assault. They talk about the microwave and the frequencies, all of the nanotechnology.
Yeah, that's what's frustrating. If you look at the U.S. Code, Title 50, Chapter 32, subsection 1528, paragraph B, it says, it's illegal to do secret testing unless it's for scientific or law enforcement purposes, including lethal. This criminal government says they can kill us with secret testing because they love us so much, just like Obama signed an order 2 weeks ago to arm al-Qaeda publicly.
Well, Alex, I want to tell you what it says on page 38 of the Silent Weapons document. It says this. It says, a nation becomes divided into two very distinct parts. A docile sub-nation, that is the great silent majority, that they claim as us, and a political sub-nation, the elites. The political nation remains attached to the docile subnation, tolerates us, leeches us, and leeches all our subsistence until it grows strong enough to detach itself and then devour us. So this is what we're seeing right now. And they also say in the Silent Weapons document that politicians hold many quasi-military jobs, the lowest being the police, which are the soldiers, the attorneys and CPAs next to that who are spies and saboteurs and are licensed, and the judges who shout orders and run the closed union military shop for whatever the market will bear. The generals are the industrialists, and the presidential level of commander-in-chief is shared by the international bankers. So I can only tell you what they say in this document about our military. They say,
well, you know what's incredible? This is written back in the 70s, and it sorts the stuff
in the 40s.
Well, but I know it sorts the stuff in the 40s, but this particular one, 1979, 74-1120. But my whole point is everything in here is in separate other government documents that are on record. That's what's so frustrating is their total declaration of war against the people, as you were stating. You can read this and see it as prophecy. They've done it. Go ahead.
That's absolutely right. In fact, if you research the Brookings Institute, this entire silent weapons system is the foundation of what they're doing to us as well. We also found on the website about smart meters and the industry plot to manipulate public acceptance. And what I mean by that is they are analyzing us at the Vanderbilt University in the sociology department. They're analyzing us to analyze our resistance to overcome and identify who's resisting the deployment of smart meters and anything else for that matter. They analyze it. And they implement strategies to discredit and put down the resistance. The bottom line is to manage our perceptions and manipulate us. This is what they're doing on every single level. We are the enemy of the state, period. So you have to understand, police get their paychecks from the corporation. The mother corporation is USA Inc. All the corporations like the U.S. Fish and Game, the forestry, they're all corporations getting paychecks from the mother corporation. This is a corporate structure. You've got to get in and get the contracts. Get the contracts. This is not an elusive monster standing on a stage behind a curtain. There are contracts running this. They tell us in the Silent Weapons document that they must maintain bookkeeping practices that they do not tell us about. Understand, this is all in this 44-page document, and again, I can't emphasize that people read this. This is vital. What they say about the military draft is heartbreaking because they say war is a balancing system by killing the true creditors, the public, which the elite have taught to exchange true value for inflated currency. This is what they tell us. And when you look at the last few pages of the Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars document, you will see exactly why they started the military. It is a depopulation mechanism. It is a way in which they say that few efforts of human behavior modification are more remarkable or more effective than that of the socio-military institution known as the draft. A primary purpose for the draft or such other institutions is to instill by intimidation in the young male of a society the uncritical conviction that the government is omnipotent. He soon is taught that prayer is too slow to cause any changes, and a bullet can make changes in an instant. Thus, a man trained in a religious environment for 18 years of his life by this instrument of government can be broken down and be purged of his fantasies and delusions in a matter of a few months. They go even more interesting is the process by which a young man's parents, who reportedly love him, can be induced to send him off to war to his death. It goes on. I can only tell you that this is 44-page document says it all. It tells you exactly who we are as far as they are concerned. But we are more of them. We must stop consenting. We've got to get these smart meters off our homes. You've got to keep these wireless microwave communication devices away from you. Definitely print off the warning and hand it out to all first responders. They're putting cell phone towers, as you may notice, on police department properties and fire department properties. Why? The recession, and they make money. The cell phone towers industry is paying huge monthly amounts of money for people to have these towers. They're also putting them in rural land, way out in the boondocks. And, of course, people are getting sick. They're dying. This is not only land theft. This is mind control. This has multiple levers.
And by the way, I've talked to the engineers 15 years ago, and I'd roll my eyes. These are people that work for big companies. They'd say, look, they're running more power into the cell phones by an order of 5, 10 times than we need. They're pulsing it. They're testing it. And then DARPA would just hide it in plain view, as I mentioned in the Baltimore Sun like 14 years ago, and admit, oh, we're just practicing calming everybody. But for anybody that just tuned in, I have PBS.org here, an article getting into secret testing in the United States, including lethal on U.S. citizens, military troops, injecting black people with syphilis. I mean, it's all on record, but it's currently all going on. It comes out, oh, they secretly sterilize people in California. Oh, but it's needed. They're just doing all this, and then they're actually then funding the poorest people to have more kids to then get the middle class to think this is all okay. It's a very, very sick synthesis of where they're trying to run both ends of the equation in their own documents to target anyone independently intelligent and smart who might challenge them controlling the future because they believe they're going to merge with machines and become God. Now, I've been telling people this for over a decade. Google came out and said, we're going to help you live forever. But the issue is under Obamacare, death care, the general public's not going to get access to all these advanced technologies. That's why they've got to implode civilization now so only they get it in select government reservations.
Well, that's absolutely true. In fact, in the future of the definition for special needs children, it will include children whose parents will not allow their children to be artificially enhanced. This is where we're heading.
The transhumanists, all of them say, we're going to take your kids from you if you won't let us put chips in them and stuff, and you're abusing them, not letting them have it. And this is what all these movies are getting people ready for. This, the Federation of American Scientists, you ought to pull this document up. It's in my book. It's hard to find online now. And my book's out of print, but it's on prisonplanet.tv, but it has the footnotes. But in the 1970s, they met, and it was a big Pentagon meeting, and then it was declassified in 2000 by the Federation of American Scientists, but the Pentagon then had it reclassified. That happens all the time, and they pulled all the stuff down from online. And in it, it actually said that the supremacy of the technocracy is we wipe everybody out except for the elite, and we all plug into machines and are actually in biotanks, and our own heat powers the system, and there'll be no more war. And it sounds like total lunacy. Plus, it's from the Matrix, folks. You heard of that. That's actually a Pentagon plan. And again, I'm saying this on air. It sounds insane. This is what they say. But so your body doesn't die, you upload into the tank. Guy, search from 2 days ago. Google says they're going to help you live forever. You're going to upload into a machine, but not at the point of death. You upload before death to learn an interface and then live in this tank. And again, these people are insane. You could write a science fiction book where they were really aliens sent here to take over and kill us covertly, but that's not what they're doing. It's our own species. There it is, Daily Mail. We'll be uploading our entire minds to computers, and our bodies will be replaced by machines. And, of course, they tell you this will happen by 2025 or 2045. The truth is it's already, they're 20, 30 years advanced. These people are completely out of their minds.
That's absolutely right, Alex. In fact, in the NASA war plan, they talk about the ultimate education approach is plug and play. This is on page 27. They talk about how there will be very fast uploads and education will be only in minutes instead of many years. This is exactly what they say in the NASA war plan. And this is what they say, when you build up from the silent weapons and from the New World Order exposed and then from the Iron Mountain, then you look at the NASA war plan, you really get it all lined up. And then you look at that document we found on the White House website. Now, another huge concern that we have is when you do antennasearch.com, you'll find where all the cell phone towers are, and generally it will give you a 4-mile radius. Download those because those, well, first of all, they don't include every single one, but most of them. Now, we did a search around the D.C., the White House, and the number of cell phone towers and antennas around the White House on a half-a-mile radius are in the hundreds and hundreds. And, of course, this is all mind control. So right now we're researching the likely possibility that we have a government that is already under mind control because there's just too many things that are not lining up, are not making sense. And in all the documents that I read, Alex, it says we simply are not asking the right questions. And we know their intention is to control everything, all energy. Energy is our mind. That is
well, clearly this was a perfect diversion. Now it turns out that it's being reported. Navy Yard service, Obama urges gun law change. We're going to cover that in a moment. But Navy Yard SWAT team stood down BBC. And here is Officer.com, ATF kept out of loop after Navy Yard shooting. And he had ELF on his gun and worked there in an ELF area with the submarines. This is really looking like mind control now and a perfect distraction. Listen, great job. Thank you so much. I look forward to having you back up on the broadcast soon, Deborah, and we'll talk to you again soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Alan.
What an amazing lady. And you can tell she's on fire on her website. She has all these flyers you can download. We need to do more of that, too, on simple issues like the Federal Reserve, vaccines, GMOs. We've done it before, but I want to make one page where we have everything in one spot so you can go download flyers and give them to friends and family. These videos are like digital flyers you can send to friends and family. But, folks, unfortunately, it's worse than she can even say. It's worse than I can even say. Lois Lerner, who got caught persecuting the Tea Party under orders of Obama, caught lying. She's now just resigned. They just announced that minutes ago. She needs to be arrested. Lois Lerner retires official at the IRS, leaves after her political persecution. And you look at these globalists, they all have that sick criminal look in their eyes. These are such sickening, vicious, predatory people, folks. These are authoritarians. It's happened everywhere else. It's happening here, and they've got high-tech weaponry. I mean, but being aware now is half the battle. And then realizing what they're doing and warning everyone you know.
Now you can watch the InfoWars Nightly News streaming live as it happens for free.
Check it out at Infowars.com/show.